Ending strings in 5S is a good way to stay safe and space yourself to punish and beat out a lot of counter pokes, even the esport normals. However, you can still lose to some medium buttons. If the opponent mashes super dash instead during block, you can 2H it after the 5S on reaction and get a punish as well. When ending your string in 2S, you can safely double jump away even if they're mashing super dash. Other ways to restart your pressure is by making 6M+. Kid Buu is one of the characters who can make a 6M+ on block and combo on hit only in the corner if done correctly. The setup to make a plus goes 5LL, first hit of 5M into 6M. There's no delays for it mid-screen. In the corner you have to slightly delay the 5M and the 6M. Don't forget it's only first hit of 5M. Another way to mix up your pressure is to go into 214S. Some jabs can punish you while others will whiff and leave you in a really good position. Moving forward to Kid Buu mix-ups, any assist into 214S opens a huge window of mix-up opportunity. You can cross up, overhead, or fake the high and go low. You can opt for the super jump IED, slow fall, fast fall mix-ups. You can fake staying in front and cross up last second, or just stay in front and go low or high. The choice is yours. The slow fall, fast fall mix-ups do take some practice, but really make the mix ambiguous once you get it down. Or you can just go for a Dragon Rush. Doing 2S into heavy Mystic Ball is a mix-up in itself, beating Super Dash in 2H if your opponent is mashing. If it hits, you can get a really beefy combo from it. If it's blocked, you can go for a multitude of mix-ups like a Dragon Rush, or you can just go into low, or you can even go for the double high. These next mix-ups also work after M or H Mystic Ball, as well as 214S plus assist with the second overhead into a low, or with the JH after hitting the double overhead, or just go for the standard IED LMH mix-up. You can also opt for the 2S IED plus assist, not as strong but still an option. Let's talk about how 1M pulls your opponent out of the corner and lets you do some janky stuff. With my team, I can seal the corner from you and do an incredibly strong ambiguous mix-up where I can cross up or stay same side depending on how I time it. Experiment with your team and see what you can come up with, because this is arguably one of Kid Buu's best type of mix-ups. Another mix-up is doing IED JS into L or M Mystic Ball plus assist to convert off of it or to keep the pressure going. Kid Buu can fuzzy the taller characters by doing jump air dash, LLH, jump forward in either L or H after a snapback, convert with JS into Mystic Ball plus assist or Vanish or H Mystic Ball. Same setup works mid-screen. This mid-screen setup catches everything except for tech in place and delayed wake up, but you can react to delayed wake up. After the air dash, you'll want to do JLL, plink into M. If the first JL hits, you'll get auto combo for a better conversion. If it's blocked, you'll get JLM into a block string. If you manage to get a straight Vanish Confirm, you can do something like this. This is a typical Kid Buu bread and butter. Using the setup I talked about earlier is really strong in the corner, as your opponent doesn't have anywhere that they can go, so even if they tech in place or delay wake up, you're still in their face. Even if they reflect on wake up, it doesn't matter, this setup will keep you in their face. If you're having trouble with the JL setup, you can do falling H, however, it doesn't cover as much, it'll lose a reflect. Kid Buu can snap loop in the corner. You have to delay super dash after J2H, after the second hit of JM, you do JS into Mystic Ball. Delay Vanish into Dragon Rush. You can keep repeating this until the character is dead or you just don't feel like doing it anymore. Let's talk about Kid Buu snap mix-ups that are safe jump. If you IED LLMH, it'll be a safe jump, and if you delay the L's after the IED, you can also opt to whiff the H and go low. Alternatively, you can go for a command grab after a snapback, but they can double jump or backdash out of it. You can also add all the other mix-ups you saw prior to this if you do set it up properly. Kid Buu's 2M and 3M aren't just for show. You can get some pretty near full screen confirms off of them. However, if they're at max range, you would have to do the whole 3-2-1 stomp, as if you try to do 3M at the 5M, you'll just whiff. If you do get the max range confirm, you can Mystic Ball or command grab if you don't have assist. After a tech Dragon Rush in the corner, Kid Buu can do JM into JL or JS. However, if you do opt for JM, JL, you have to be careful as your opponent can 2H you. If you think they're going to 2H you, you can do JM into JS, Mystic Ball. There are some moves that beat you out of Dragon Rush like Lariat, but you can counter it with H Mystic Ball. Let's not forget, if somebody does a Vanish that doesn't jail, you can either H command grab them for a punish, or you can opt to level 3 them as well. This is very strong because a lot of people will do fake Vanishes. Kid Buu has a lot of moves that need to be double reflected, such as 5LL, 5LM, 5L2M, JLM, so make sure you use these to beat reflect. I highly recommend buffering level 3s when you're in the air, as they beat Super Dash and other air approaches. Using Pro Flash into a good GHC is a great way to kill a low health assist without having to go in, and it's also a safe option to do so, as you cannot get punished afterwards if done correct. For this Kid Buu combo, it only works on the smaller cast of characters after you catch them crouching or land a JH to force them into crouch. It's more optimal as it does more damage in meter. To do the variation that works on the entire cast, you have to do JML delay JS after the 2S. Just remember that you have to catch them crouching to make it work. If you find yourself landing a 1M in the corner, you can opt to go for this combo. Here's how it looks solo. If you end the combo at level 3, only do the first hit of JM into JS. If you do both hits of JM, they can flip out after the JS. Try throwing in your assist to keep the corner to do more damage and build more meter. Kid Buu spark combos have been nerfed heavily, but that doesn't mean you still can't find ways to squeeze out damage. Here's an example combo that you can try with your team and adjust accordingly. In sparking, Kid Buu has some of the best mix-ups, such as jump back cancel into JS, air dash, same side mix, jump forward JS will give you a cross up into mix, or you could just IED JS for a quick left right mix up. Kid Buu's combos with assists are pretty straightforward. You just do an air series into an assist, get the relaunch, knock them into your last assist, and go for a Dragon Rush, Candy Beam, or Kamehameha, depending how your last assist ends the combo. There are some ways to squeeze a little bit more damage out of his combo, such as doing JS, Mystic Ball into your assist. It's a little harder, but you can make it work with most assists. You just gotta go to the lab and practice it. Same thing applies off of Vanish combos. You can go for the Mystic Ball after JS to get more damage, or you can just keep it simple and do LMH assist. It really just depends on how confident you feel. Off a 2H confirm, doing a regular air series into Mystic Ball to delayed vanish is a great way to get your opponent from the air to the ground to further extend, or you don't have to vanish if you have the right assist. Here's how it'll look when done with certain assists, such as GT Goku's beam. Same thing applies off a command grab. It really works in any situation with Kid Buu. As long as the hit stun isn't too high, you'll be able to confirm after it and get some pretty good damage. I'm sure you've noticed by now that a lot of Kid Buu's routes are generally the same, so you won't have too much to learn when trying to learn this character's combos. The only time Candy Beam is okay to use is in combos or to fight some zoners, like FighterZ when they're trying to shoot you full screen with 5S. Other than that, you don't really want to throw it out, as there's only a hitbox at the tip of the move. Holding roll tag during Kid Buu's 5M is a safe way to get him out and a character in, as they're still in block stun. Now let's talk about Kid Buu's side switches. He has a few ways to do them. The easiest is delayed super dash after J2H. The other one is done by doing JML, slight delay into the next JL, slight delay jump forward into auto combo. By doing the JMLL version, you can side switch even after just landing a raw 2H to get the corner back from your opponent. Assist extensions with Kid Buu's assists are a little unconventional, but there are ways to make it reliable. You just have to go into the lab and experiment with your team. There is no universal way to use his assist, but that doesn't mean you can't find a reliable way to use it or even get a TLD off of it, such as this example. So head to the lab and find what specials your team has that'll make it easier for you to combo into Kid Buu Assist, as some specials make it more autopilot than others. During a block string, you want to find the timing to end your string to get that grueling 50-50 that we all love. Make sure you put the enemies to action to reflect and block first only to make sure your string is true. Faking the assist into Dragon Rush is also a good way to mix your opponent. Learning to do Kid Buu's rejump during sparking is pretty important, as you retain meter build and keep your smash. Knock your opponent towards the ground, hold vanish and do JML, delay the second JL, buffer ground dash into his rejump. It may take some time to learn, but it'll be worth it. If you find yourself doing human extinction mid-screen, you can get an extra 100 damage from a falling beam after a DHC if you time it properly. You can also use Kid Buu's Assist for Snapbacks. Here's a few examples to give you ideas on how it's done. I highly recommend learning this as you'll keep the corner so you won't have to vanish and put them mid-screen to give them more real estate. Using Kid Buu's M or H Mystic Ball is a really good way to get out of the corner while using a moving hitbox. Using 1M after a reflect is a good way to punish people mashing strings. However, if your opponent can beat reflect, you'll have to double reflect with the 2M to punish them. It'll be on you to know your opponent's options in that moment. Going back to Kid Buu's raw tag after 5M, you can do some pretty cool stuff off of it. Here's an example. So go to the lab and see what works best for your team if you want to experiment with this. All in all, Kid Buu is a hyper-aggressive character that will mix you up, but can retreat and start zoning if the player chooses to do so. Make sure to learn the range of his M buttons and which button to use in which situation, as well as everything else I mentioned in this video. Once you get it all down, you're going to be opening people up like a cold one with the boys. Oh, and before I forget, never do Candy Beam. Never do Candy Beam.